All right, pivoting doesn't start until for another whole hour as of now, as I'm recording this. So let's get this reaction video of part 2 of the Power Problems episode of Danger Force and the Dale Sr. Austin Dillon installment of Warped out of the way before we focus on pivoting on Fox. So how about that crazy ending to that whole episode storyline alone? I should have known Lilith was going to be evil, but at least I not only got to meet get to know the dad better, Krishna the Kumar, but I also got to know the guy that this Benny dude played. I don't really know, the character's name, but I think it was like, the bearded guy's adopted son, as he mentioned at the end when, Terrence, I'm still a little rusty from my Danger Force hiatus, so I'm gonna have trouble remembering all the superheroes' names. But the kid in the red, Havon Flores and Terrace Blue and Garden Tie, the Bumblebee guy, uniform kid, when they kicked their asses. He said, "You were like the son I never had. How could you betray me like this?" I mean, he said the first part was right. I don't think he said it the second part that way, but that's basically what it translated to. But man, I was hoping Lilith would not turn bad, but I should have known that was the bearded guy's daughter. I mean, wow. And there you go, we got to see her cry for the first time, considering that was basically the character's storyline, I'm glad she's not this evil in real life because she seems so sweet, based on, what I'm looking at. I want to give a shout out to her sister, Benjani Ali, and of course another shout out to her friend, Tara Martin, who liked last week's reaction video when I got to have an extended weekend due to the big-ass snowstorm we had here in Ohio a week ago. And yes, I will be going to work tomorrow, so maybe I'll do my It Ain't For The Week Instagram exclusive series at work, just for the hell of it, because of the fact that my Thursday night presentation series on YouTube is going to be it's going to be the Ty Dillon installment of that. I haven't attended that series since January 21st, 2016, and so basically I'm going to talk about my experience. I'm going to talk about what I'm about to experience at David Arnold's show on Saturday night. The long-ass go-to YouTube video that probably won't get posted until Sunday, sometimes Sunday. So I'll save that conversation for tomorrow. But bravo to everybody at Danger Force in tonight's episode alone for doing a hell of a job. And somehow I don't know if they officially got their powers back, because I'm pretty sure they did. But the only thing that would confuse some people like me was because of the fact that, Captain Man and Schwaz didn't have them, test it, like they did in part 1 when they lost them. He had them test it when they lost them, but yet they didn't have them he didn't have them test them when they got them back, which is really confusing to me. But at least the day's saved, and that's all that matters. And tonight's sneak peek of next week's episode looks more exciting. Tonight was exciting as fuck, don't get me wrong, but next week looks more exciting. We get to see the Danger Force clones be more malicious than the original counterparts, so I can't wait for that. I'm going to miss Lilith, though. I'm going to miss her terribly, but I know me and Darren McLeod are going to keep in touch on social media, so therefore, and also, tell your mom, Erica, hi for me, Dare. Tell her hi for me. But anyway, now let's get to Warped. All right, finally, we got to meet Wilson for the first time. And sadly, unlike Owen, shout out to Jason Rogel, who will sadly be missed throughout the rest of the series. Unlike Owen, this Wilson guy doesn't take any shit. Let me tell you that right now. He doesn't like messes, and he's a little strict, but somewhat nice. I mean, like how Gary Lyons used to be at my old job, in the same building, and not Triad, ViaQuest, but ELVC. Wilson is firm. I wouldn't say he's strict, but Wilson is firm, but at the same time fair. Fair meaning he can be firm, but also be a little nice and cordial too. But I really thought he was gonna find out find out about Milo and fire his ass. There was gonna be some busting going on. I swear to God, I thought Ruby, Milo, Hurley, and Darby, my favorite character, by the way, were all going to get busted for doing a little CSI undercover behind the scenes, behind Wilson's back. And I thought he was going to find out about the fake comics, It's a miracle that he didn't, though. It's a miracle that he did. If Owen didn't find out about what was going on last week, then Wilson didn't find out what was going on this week either. It all worked out in the end. And that Todd guy, he was a pill. He was something else. He seemed nice in the beginning, but turns out we knew his true colors at the very end. But, just like with Carl last week, the good guys always win, except this week it wasn't in dramatic fashion. Like when we beat Carl last week, when we beat Carl last week, we did the Mike Skinner, as we all know, where we say, yeah, God damn it, we beat that little son of a bitch. This week we didn't have to do that. We can, the good guys can win in many other different ways. That's not all dramatic and exciting like we saw tonight, And Darby, on the other hand, had that she refused, like Jeff Gordon, to call it a fanny pack. She just wanted to call it a utility belt, but yet everybody else kept calling it a fanny pack over and over and over until they realized that it can be used more than just a fanny pack. It can be used as a utility belt. In real life, it's a fanny pack no matter what, but in TV, you can call it anything you want because they make all this shit look so real. And that random customer was played by Christina Coral, so shout out to her. I think that's Beth Carl's daughter, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. It may be her sister, but I don't know. But, man, I feel bad for her, though. That random customer played by Beth Carl's sister or daughter, whichever one it was. Okay, Beth and Christina, if you, whatever, however your relation is and you see this video when I tag you, comment down below because this is going on Instagram and YouTube. On Instagram, just comment, how you guys are related, because I'm not really sure, honestly. This is my first time hearing about Christina, but I feel sorry for that customer who, was, done dirty, but in like a quiet manner. She just walked out of that store, and Ruby refused, like Jeff Gordon, to show her that comment, because maybe at the same time she was trying to protect her from, buying a fake one. But somehow they got the real one restored. And it looked like everything was going according to plan and we were going to have a proper ending to a crazy-ass episode. It was a calm, quiet, crazy episode. But then when she tried to rip it up like Bobby Hamilton, I was getting ready to say that. But until how do we describe this? I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm going to say, but how do I say it? Until, Fate was trying to realize Fate was trying to tell us that she ripped up the wrong one. She thought it was the fake one. She was on the fake comic, but she ended up ripping up the real one. And Milo's like, hey, Ruby, what the hell's wrong with you? You ripped up the wrong one. This is the one you should have ripped. Will this go into next week's episode? I don't fucking know. But, man, that was crazy. I mean, Ren was believing that, someone was going to get fired, but luckily nobody did. Nobody did. And I thought Nielsen was going to find out about the stuff the crew was doing behind his back, that way he wouldn't find out. But it's like, most of the time, I guess last week's episode and tonight's episode kind of taught me that some secrets can be kept for a long enough time before somebody eventually finds out. We saw this with that girl Lele on Thursday nights in the first half of the season, where Lele's secret was being successfully kept. It was being successfully hidden, but then I can't remember if her or Sadie let it out by accident as, Marky was walking in, but regardless, we don't know what, speaking of David Arnold, that's the show he created, we're going to find out if we get a season 2, but that was one hell of a cliffhanger back in the first half, but we're going to save that conversation for another day if we get the news that it's getting a season 2, and we know Side Hustle's coming back in March, so therefore, I get to make my return to Side Hustle in 2 months, so I made my return to Danger Force this month, and Mackenzie Lee Foster just replied to me, let's go. So if it would make sense, if I return to Danger Force this month, to blend in with everything on Nickelodeon, with Warped and all that stuff, then I guess I can return to Side Hustle in March, because honestly, I lost count of the episodes, how in order I've watched since, I started watching those two. So therefore, I really don't care anymore about the episode count for Danger Force and Side Hustle since I took a long-ass hiatus. But this was episode Dale Sr., Austin Dillon of Warp. So it was exciting as fuck tonight on Nickelodeon Thursday night in America. So stay tuned later on for my reaction video to the Mike Skinner installment, I believe it is, of pivoting on Fox. So I will see you all Nickelodeon peeps next Thursday for another edition of Nickelodeon Thursday Night in America.